Get this all set up. So let some people start coming in. Let's get this tweeted out. All right, so people start rolling in, get this tweeted out, get this posted in the Discord. Let's get this link. Get this shared out. All right. Let's wait for some people to roll in now that we got this link out there and shared. Let's get up some sports book stuff. Let's get up some props, some DK. Let's get all that stuff up and we can go through all of that. All right. So I'm eating the Derrick Henry chalk today. I know there's a great leverage spot today, especially because Kamara's in a great spot too. And while he'll be chalky, he won't be. I think Derrick Henry will probably be 30, 35%, and Kamara's probably in 20, 25%. So there is definitely, I think, some leverage off Henry if you go Kamara. But I'm just going to eat the Derrick Henry chalk. It just seems like a good high volume day. I understand that without the receivers that, maybe the Jets are just going to stack the box and say, hey, beat us, somewhere else outside of Derrick Henry. But with the Jets and with Derrick Henry, they could put 8 guys in the box and still don't know if that's enough. Thoughts on Kamara and Saints D? Yeah, so I was just talking about Kamara. So I like that as a good pivot off Henry because he'll be less owned. He'll still be somewhat popular, but he'll be less owned than Henry. But I like the Saints D too. I'm personally not on them just because I like to limit my defenses to probably 3 or 4 in my 20 max. But I think running Kamara and Saints D together for sure could absolutely be a good correlation. All right, let's get some of these lines up here as well. We can go through some of that. We can go through my 20 max. Whatever other questions y'all have, we can go through that. Struggling with picking between Mahomes and Kyler this week. I'm going Kyler. I don't know. I just trust that game to shoot out more than the Eagles Chiefs, as weird as that sounds. But I'm obviously would never, especially in a week like this, wouldn't tell you to not play Mahomes for sure. I would just go Kyler, I think. Like I said, it's weird to say he's got a higher floor because Mahomes' floor is always crazy up there. But like I said, I just trust that Rams-Cardinals game to shoot out more than the Eagles-Chiefs game, as weird as it is. What to do with Montgomery? Is that David Montgomery? That's David Montgomery. I don't play David Montgomery. I I understand playing him. I rarely play David Montgomery. He's just a guy like Nick Chubb, just for whatever reason, rarely finds his way into my lineups. But I don't hate that. I think you could play Fields and Montgomery this week. I think you could play Montgomery by himself. I think you could play Fields and like Mooney. I think you have a couple different options there. How much are you trusting Hopkins rib injury versus Ramsey? Yeah, I mean, if he was really somewhat banged up or more so banged up, then they're not putting him out there because obviously it's a huge game, but it is still week 4. So at the end of the day, they're not risking their best player if it's something severe, and it's not just him playing through pain. I think it was AJ Green. Somebody said last week, they said DeAndre is DeAndre, he's going to play, which just means that, if it's a pain tolerance thing, that, he's just on another level. Pain doesn't bother him. So I think as long as there's no issue of getting it re-injured, I think if it's a pain tolerance thing, I'm not worried as much about DeAndre. But I do think I'll have more Chase Edmonds. I just think that it's a decent spot for Chase. And I think he's a good option to pair with Kyler. You can pair, like I said, Kyler, Hopkins, Chase Edmonds. You can play Kyler, Edmonds, like AJ Green, Christian Kirk. I just think it's a good one. Lions or Bears? I was about to ask who they're playing, and then I realized they're playing each other. I think probably go the Lions. I do have the Lions in my cheat sheet. What's the let me see. I don't even know what the Bears price is. I assume the Bears are higher priced than the Lions, like much higher. Let me pull it up. Let's see. Defenses. Oh, spread-wise. Not for defenses, spread-wise. That's tough. That's probably a game I'm not going to have a straight-up bet on. I could see the Bears bouncing back, but the Lions have also played tough every week and seem like they're fighting hard for Dan Campbell. So wouldn't be surprised if they win this game at all for sure. Corey Davis revenge game. Corey Davis he's so weird because he's one of those guys where like he'll just like constantly have some catches and he's just pretty decent every single week. And then he has like that 1 week where I'll have like 6 catches for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it's just like when you can hit those Corey Davis weeks, those are. I'm trying to think of other receivers that are kind of like that. Christian Kirk's almost kind of like that. Kind of like what he had last week. Mike Williams used to be like that, but now he's just good every fucking week. So on FanDuel, which running back sticks out to you most at their price? Let me pull up FanDuel real quick. FanDuel.com. Davis is great in my Madden career. Yeah, he seems like he'd be one of those. There are certain receivers and cornerbacks in Madden that when their hands are so good that they're like great. I remember growing up at one of the younger Maddens. I forgot which one it was. 2000, maybe 2003, one of the earlier ones for when I was a kid. I remember you had guys like Chris Gamble, who like was a cornerback who had better catching skills than receivers. And I was just love playing guys like that. Thoughts on a Stafford, Woods, Edmonds, Kirk stack for the late game? Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Would you play the Vikings receivers and running back together? You could. I think if you're going to do that, I think you'd play one receiver, you'd play Kirk, and you'd play. Is Dalvin playing? Is that? I mean, I guess I should pull up inactives because that's kind of the whole point of this thing. Is Dalvin officially in? Let's pull it up. And Chris, don't worry, I didn't forget about you. FanDuel's loading. I'm still looking at those running backs. Josh Reynolds, number 1 option from Tennessee for you. Yeah, for receiver, I'd say so, probably. Yeah, if Dalvin's in, so then I would go Kirk. If you're looking to play Dalvin with a receiver, I'd play Kirk, Dalvin, and either Jefferson or Thielen, whatever receiver you're looking at. You're going to have a lot of bets for 1 p.m. games. I'm going through some of them now. Probably won't have that many, but I'll have a decent amount of props. There's some props I like for sure, but still trying to exactly, narrow down exactly how many bets I want to put out. Because I know if I put 20 bets out, a lot of people aren't going to follow all 20 bets. And, so I want to make it easier on people. But once again, that's kind of the betting strategy that I use is more of a volume style better. But yeah, I do try and find that middle ground of not having too much bets. All right, running back on FanDuel, which price sticks out the most? Let's see. See, I don't really play FanDuel, so I got to see what's so. What are we talking? Like under $7K for a FanDuel running back is cheap. Is that right? Almost had a huge night yesterday. I know, man. Johnny Walker's he's a different fighter than when he started. He used to come out and he would throw everything and everything. And then he found something else and he threw that too. And then last night I think one of Santos's shots last night for sure had to have maybe one of the liver shots, maybe it was one of the leg kicks. One of them just had to hit him the wrong way because he wasn't really throwing much before, but he definitely wasn't throwing much after. So I think he kind of just got stung and kind of felt power he maybe has never really felt before. And especially on a stage like that, you can kind of turtle up and be like, well, I'm going to live to see another day because I don't need to get knocked out tonight. But yeah, so be it. And the mid-low 7K for FanDuel running backs, I'm kind of looking at anything under 6 and 5. Yeah, okay. That's kind of what I figured. All right, so if you're looking mid to low sevens, I like Antonio Gibson at 7,100. I think that's a good spot. I think you could play Gibson with Heineke and Samuel, and you could play Gibson with Heineke and McLaurin, or Gibson and Heineke and Logan Thomas. Is his name Logan? Yeah, Logan Thomas. Chuba Hubbard, obviously, he's 6,300. I think he'll be fairly popular. Chase Edmonds, 6,100. So those are the three that I would like in that range. Gibson, Edmonds, and Chuba Hubbard would be the sub 7,500 running backs I'd be looking at for right now. All right, let's pull up some bets, some props. Let's see what we got here. Calvin Ridley, massive price drop on FanDuel. He is. I'm just gonna look and see what range he's in. Yeah, and this could be a decent spot for him. He's just surrounded by all these guys that are just I'd rather play. Like when I'm just going through these guys on FanDuel, obviously I know a couple of them are more expensive, but going up to 7,600, I'd rather play DeAndre. I'd rather play Amari. I'd rather play CeeDee Lamb. I'd rather play DJ Moore. I'd rather play McLaurin. I'd even rather play Odell probably. But yeah, I think you can definitely be different with Calvin Ridley this week for sure. I like getting Jalen Waddle. I'm not playing Jalen Waddle this week, but I get it. He's just almost going to be one of those guys where I'm probably going to wait for him to go off and then play him. And so I will have already missed the boat. But it's these Bama receivers. They're so tough to predict with the style that they play, like a Jalen Waddle or Devonta Smith or even the LSU guy, Jamar Chase. It's just the way these guys are just so boom or bust a lot of times. These deep routes or these taking a screen, 60 yards, which is why I try and hopefully get some more volume kind of guys. But I get it. I mean, I wouldn't talk you off playing Jalen Waddle this week. I do think he has the upside, though. I think he hasn't reached any upside yet, but I think he does have that upside. We've seen in college. I mean, any guy that's got that kind of speed and that kind of quickness, I mean, he could go for 240, 50, 60-yard touchdowns in the same game. So I think he does have upside. I just don't think we've seen it yet. Most owned players at each position this week. All right. You're talking about my personal ownership or what I'm projecting the ownership to be? Personal ownership. All right. Playing any Cameron Brate this week with Gronk out? No, because they play on Sunday night. All right. Let's go through these. These are my personal ownerships of my 20 max. So my 20 max, This is for right now, and this could change before lock, but this is pretty close to what it'll be, I'd assume. So 20 lineups. I've got Darnold in 20% of them, which is 4 lineups. I've got Heineke in 20%. I've got Kyler in 20%. I've got Stafford in 15%. I've got Dak in 15%. I've got Hurts in 1, and I've got Fields in 1. So those are the quarterbacks. So I've got Darnold, Heineke, and Kyler in 4 lineups, Stafford and Dak in 3, Hurts in 1, and Justin Fields in 1. So those are my quarterback ownerships. Running back. So I'm going with a lot of running back flexes this week. So I've got, like I said, I'm eating the Derrick Henry chalk, whether it works or not, to be seen. But I've got Derrick Henry in 15 of my 20 lineups. Got Chase Edmonds in 13 of my 20, which is 65%. I've got Chuba Hubbard in 9 out of my 20, which is 45%. I've got Antonio Gibson in 25%, which is 5 lineups. Najee Harris in 20%, which is 4 lineups. And I got Miles Sanders in 15%, which is 3 lineups. Reynolds or Samuel? I think I would go, I don't know. That's so tough. I'm splitting between the two. I've got more Curtis Samuel than Reynolds, so I'd probably say Curtis Samuel. All right, let's go through receivers. So my personal ownership for receivers. So I have both Robert Woods and Robbie Anderson both in 8 out of my 20, so that's 40%. Got DeAndre, Terry McLaurin, and Amari Cooper in 7 of the 20. I've got DJ Moore and I've got DJ Moore in 6. I've got Curtis Samuel in 5 of the lineups. I've got Christian Kirk and AJ Green in 4 of the lineups. I've got Tyreek in 3, CeeDee Lamb in 3. I've got Cooper Kupp in 3, Darnell Mooney in 2, Reynolds in 2, and Cedric Wilson in 2. So that's what I've got for receivers. That might change a little bit because I'm going to go through and make sure my stacks are all right. So that might change a little bit. But yeah, Woods, Anderson, DeAndre, those are the guys at the top that I'll have the most of. Tight ends. Let's go to tight ends. Tight ends. I will have. So I've got 7 of my 20 lineups are going to have Higbee. 7 of my 20 lineups are going to have Dalton Schultz. 5 of the 20 have Logan Thomas. 3 of the 20 have Will Dissly. And 1 of the 20 has Albert O from the Broncos. Defense, I'm playing a bunch of lines. I think they're going to be high owned, which means maybe I drop off a little bit, but who knows how high owned the lines are actually going to be. But at 2,100, I think you just eat that and you just play them. So I've got lines, 15 of my 20 lines for 75%. I've got the Colts in 3, and I've got the Browns in 2. So those are my personal ownerships. I went through anything too quick, or if there's something or somebody I didn't say or missed or anything, let me know. I can for sure tell you what I have for those. I'm trying to finish building as we're doing this and going through some bets as well. All in a day's work. It's all fun stuff. Let's go. What else we got, guys? What other questions we got as I'm going to start building some of these lineups? People ask me if I use any optimizer or anything. So I use my own projections, but I do, for as of right now, I used it last year and I still like it. I use the Roto Grinders, like their lineup HQ. I don't necessarily use their projections or their ownerships or anything like that, but just in terms of just optimizing like for a 20 max with your own projections, it's easy to put your own projections in and just kind of use the tool that they have. So for anybody asking, that's what I like. Colts plus 2.5. What do you think? I don't think I'll have a side on that game, but if I did have a side, I'd be betting the Colts. That would be the side I'd be on if I was betting the Colts, or if I was betting that game, I should say. Don't know if I'll have a bet on that game though. All right, let's go through some of these lineups. So let's go through here. Some of my highest projected lineups in terms of points. So Rager and Zach Moss or Samuel and Harris. I'm liking Samuel and Harris. Yeah, I think I'd go Samuel and Harris. But I'm sure this will be the Jalen Rager day since I'm not on him. I'm a Ravens fan, so you don't have to convince me to bet the Ravens. I'll be about that. I said it on the podcast this week. Teddy Bridgewater covers 75% of games he starts. He's covered the first 3. He'll not cover today. 3 out of 4 at 75%, right on cue. Sammy Watkins or Kenyon Drake, no PPR. I would go Sammy Watkins. All right, so let's go through a couple of my highest projected lineups. So this one I have projected for 146 points. I've got Dak, Edmonds, Chuba Hubbard, Robert Woods, Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, Dalton Schultz, Cooper Kupp, and the Lions. So that's just one of my higher projected lineups. Another higher projected lineup, this one's got Kyler, Derrick Henry, Chuba Hubbard, Robbie Anderson, Robert Woods, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, Chase Edmonds, and the Lions. Ravens won't win the Super Bowl this year. Yeah, 31 other teams won't win 31 teams won't win the Super Bowl either. So, whatever. Shit happens. What else we got, guys? Let's go through some of these bets and props. We can get some of these bets and props ready to go for this afternoon, at least for the 1 p.m. games. What props are you guys looking at? Only Packers will. Hey, I'm the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan you'll find. So I'm an Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams stan. So you don't got to convince me of that. I spend half my time in the Discord talking about debating whether Devontae Adams would be good without Aaron Rodgers. Just to me, it's a dumb argument, but that's what happens. Think Adams eats. Today's a little weird because Steelers getting TJ Watt back, so they may be able to get some more pressure on Rodgers. That defense is starting to get healthy. I don't think there's a crazy. I wouldn't be surprised, but he's also. I just think that I'd rather pay up for running backs where I think it should be more sure, and then go to receivers that are cheaper down. J.D. McKissick over 2.5 receptions. Is that what that number is? I don't mind that at all. I definitely don't mind that if that's the number. Let's go through some of these props. All right, let's go through. Let's just go game by game on some of these player props. See what we've got here. So let's do. Let's start with Giants at the Saints. Offhand, probably don't have much in there. Let's go to Carolina at Dallas. Carolina at Dallas. This should be a good game to find a couple props, a couple guys we like. So I'm about Robbie Anderson today. So obviously, Robbie's a yards guy when he hits. So I'm looking right now. Robbie Anderson's yards total is. I'm looking at 50.5. So I see 50.5, which I like for Robbie Anderson. So that's a bet that we're going to get in. Robbie Anderson, 51 plus yards. What's my lock prop of the day? So I'm going through the props now. Haven't figured out exactly what the lock of those are going to be yet, but going through that now. Start there. Robbie Anderson. Oh, that just moved to 54, so hopefully that doesn't kill us. All right, let's go. Robbie, 54 plus yards. Henry over 2.5 receptions. I don't mind that. Let's hold on. We'll get to that game in a second. Let's go. I like Chuba Hubbard. I like him over 25.5. It looks like. Let's see. Chuba Hubbard. Yep. Chuba Hubbard's going to be over 25.5 receiving yards. I like that. I like Amari today. So Amari's another one that I'm going to be on. Amari, let's see. That should be, if it's sub 65, I like it. Yeah, Amari's 61 plus, so I like that. Let's do that. Woods or Kirk already have Kyler and Edmonds in. I'd probably go Woods. Unless if you have another Ram in there, I wouldn't. If you have another Ram in there, I'd go Kirk. If you don't, I would go Woods. I'd make sure you have a Ram in that lineup. All right, so that looks like that's what we'll have for yards for this game. Let's go for touchdowns. touchdown scorers. Robbie, what are you going to give me? They better give me at least 2.5 to 1 because Robbie's been so shit this year. What are you going to give me? Robbie Anderson. Takes forever to scroll. Plus 200. They're going to give me plus 200, so I'll take plus 200. Cooper, I believe his over was 61.5. So I'm going to go Robbie Anderson touchdown, and I'm going to go a smaller bet on Robbie Anderson 2 touchdowns. Just I got to trust the bomb of the week when I put it out there and I feel good about it. I've got to trust it. So that's what we're going to do with Robbie. Let's see. What's his 2+ touchdowns? Score 2+ touchdowns. 14 to 1. I'll take that. All right. So we've got from that Panthers-Cowboys game, this is what we just got locked in. We've got Robbie Anderson, 54+ yards. Chuba Hubbard, 26+ receiving yards. Amari Cooper, 63+ receiving yards. Robbie, 1 touchdown at 2 to 1, and then Robbie 2 touchdowns at 14 to 1 for a smaller bet. I'll tweet all these out too, but I'm just kind of going through some of these now as we have this. Tyreek, Adams, or Diggs. I would go Tyreek, I think. I think you have it in the right order. Tyreek would be number 1, Adams would be number 2, and Diggs would be number 3, I think. All right, let's get let's see what Darnold 2+ passing touchdowns. I like that too. Let's do that as well. All right, let's get those bets in for that first game. So you guys will notice that when I do props, there'll be certain games I don't have basically anything on, and certain games I'll go heavy on. Those are just games that I feel like I've created a good game script and trust, as opposed to other games. Let's do see, there's not going to be many other props. Some of the later games I'll have for props. Let's go see Curtis Samuel, 28+ receiving yards. I like that. Let's do that. Curtis Samuel, 28+ receiving yards. What's his receptions number? 4, maybe? 3? Yeah, 3. So let's do that. We'll do 3 and 28+ yards. And then at this point, you might as well throw in a touchdown in case he catches one. Touchdown, let's see, probably 4 or 5 to 1, I would guess. Who knows? It's his first game. Curtis Samuel. Oh, that's 2 touchdowns. Which D would you get for 3,700 or below on FanDuel? Probably the Lions. Curtis Samuel, they're giving me 4 to 1. I will take that on Curtis Samuel touchdown. That would be a slightly smaller bet. And then I like Heineke's passing touchdowns number as well. Oh, it's 3. All right, let's stay away from that. That's a little close. So, all right, let's get these in. So for that Washington Falcons game, the only thing I'm going to be on is the Curtis Samuel props. Curtis Samuel, 28+ yards. Curtis Samuel, 3+ receptions. Curtis Samuel, 1 touchdown, 4 to 1. Yep, I'm going to tweet all of this when I'm done. Just going through it in case anybody's been along with us now. But yeah, I'll tweet it out afterwards. Because there's not going to be that many more props. And by 12:20 or so, in about 8 minutes, I'm going to get off here so I can finish getting my lineup submitted. All right, let's go to this Tennessee Jets game. If there's anything here, the receptions number for Derrick Henry, where is that? Derrick Henry, 3+ receptions. Let's hop on that. What's his receiving yards number? 21. Let's do that. And let's do some sort of crazy touchdown prop for Henry in case he goes off. Let's do he's minus 400 to score touchdowns. Crazy. That's absurd. Derrick Henry against the Jets for you, though. Let's see what 3 touchdowns is for Derrick Henry. It's probably 10-1, 12-1. Let's just do that. All right, so that's what we're going to have all for that game. And that's going to be probably it for the early slate of games in terms of props. I'll get that all tweeted out real quick once I get off here. Is there any other final questions, anything else before I log off? Kamara or Cook? I would probably go Kamara, but it's close. Yeah, I think I'd go Kamara. Anything else before we get out of here, guys? Any final questions? You got them. Let's get them in now because I got to make sure I get my lineups in because that's the worst thing as providers. I'm not even a provider because I don't provide lineups or I don't charge anything or whatever, but doing content and then not getting your own lineups in. Thanks for everything as always. For sure. Thank you guys for the support. We're slowly growing more every single week. Yeah, and that's the idea. The idea is just to kind of help you guys. Hopefully, I know I don't even say when I first started because I still definitely get help and information and ask others all around. But definitely when I first started, things like this were definitely very helpful because you sit there on a Sunday morning and change your lineup 100 different times. So, helps give you confidence in what to do. And then if it's wrong, then you can blame me and you don't have to blame yourself. Yeah, hit that like button, people. Thank you. Kevin is exactly right. Hit that like button. It helps us get this to more people. And then the more questions and the more people and the more conversations we all got going in here, then can always be given a bunch more opinions, not just from me, but from you guys as well. If we get more towards some betting stuff, we can start figuring out a way if I can get JP to join me on these live streams. I'd ask KMS, but it's a Sunday pre 1 p.m., so he's probably dead. Could you right quick look at FanDuel defenses 3,700 and below? Yes, I can. 3,700 and below. I think I'd go I don't know, I'd go Carolina or as stupid as it sounds, Philly. Because I think Philly might give up a bunch of points, but I also feel like you want to play against a team that's going to be throwing a bunch and have a chance for an interception. So I would go either Carolina or Philly. And for that, you could just flip a coin. Carolina's probably a little safer. If you guys want my useless but potentially more entertaining input during these lip, I don't know. Well, okay. I'll compliment you and I'll insult you because your information is not useless and you're certainly not more entertaining than me. But I can bring you down and bring you back up right after. So, but yeah, thank you guys for doing this. We've been getting more people every week, and like I said, I like doing this, and it helps kind of get the juices flowing for a Sunday. Just good after the year and a half we've had. Just hopefully back to some normal football. It feels good. Last year it felt like COVID was hitting a lot more. It's still obviously, part of the NFL this year, but I feel like at least now it feels like a normal NFL season. We're not playing games on Wednesdays. We haven't gotten to that point yet. Yeah, well, Baylor is who we thought they were, just like Maryland is, fortunately. Saints D or Titans D? Prize Saints. I would go Saints. I think Saints is just easier, so I would go Saints. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining me. DM me on Twitter if you guys got any more questions or anything. I'll tweet out those bets that I just put out in a second. Yeah, what I think of the Dolphins call. It's tough. Even Kevin Holland said that it was a weird thing. And my question is, and I'm not going to go on a huge rant before I finish. My question is, who's involved in that video replay? Because there was a lot more eyes on that than should have been on that. And I don't know when the last time they used replay or if they've used it or I don't, but they're like Sean Shelby's a UFC matchmaker. Why is he in that decision? Mark Ratner, who's he was like the former head of the whatever they're called, the fight association, whatever the commission. It's just there was too much going on. Now, you heard what they were saying, so it is somewhat a little bit like you said. Yeah, it is fishy, but at least you heard what they were saying for the most part. So you kind of heard the conversation, and the conversation was Dan basically saying, "I was ready to stop that fight after that headbutt because it looked like Holland was out." But by the time I was ready to step in, Holland was back too, and he was fighting. And he was kind of ready to go. And then that's kind of where Herb Dean stepped in and said, well, if you think the headbutt knocked him out, then even if the fight didn't end right there and it still went for, another minute or two, then it probably should be stopped because it changed the entire momentum of the fight. If you really feel like he went out cold, not he got knocked down, not he got date. Like if you feel like his lights went out even for a flash knockout for half a second, that's what Herb was saying. And I don't disagree with that. I understand what Herb's saying. I do think it's more so like at the end of the day, it's got to be Dan's decision. He was the referee in there. He was the one that saw that. I understand that Herb, I guess, is technically like the lead official is what he was deemed for the night, which means that he's kind of involved in those replay decisions, which I'm fine with. Herb, or whoever the lead official is for the night can for sure be involved in those decisions. It's just when you get these UFC matchmakers and these Mark Ratner and these guys that are all just coming in where it's like that makes it a little weird. There should be 3 guys involved in that decision. It should be Dan, who is the referee inside, Herb, since he was the lead official, and the video replay guy. The video replay guy is there to say, this is the angle, this is this, what other angle do you need, whatever. And then at the end of the day, it should be Dan's final decision. But I understand Herb stepping in and being like, if you feel like he went out cold, then it's got to be a no contest because it wasn't like it went on another, round and a half. It went on, I think, a minute or 2. So, yeah, I think it was fishy. It sucked. Would have loved to hit it, but, at the end of the day, it's MMA. Still had a great night, so I'm not going to complain about it. But that's my little rant on the MMA video review from last night, if you will. So, all right, let me get these bets tweeted out. Let me get these lineups submitted for me. Thank you guys. Like I said, Twitter, DM me in Discord, anything. I'm here. Let's do this. Let's have a great day, guys. Let's kill it.